I've talked about various herbs in past videos, and today I want to talk about another herb that not too many people know about, but it has a lot of possible health benefits. But at the start, I just want to point out that most of the data, or let's say scientific information that's been published on this particular herb, unfortunately has involved either in vitro, which is isolated cell studies, or animal studies. There's been a couple of human studies which I'll mention, but the bulk of the studies has involved animal studies such as rodents and rats. That's not always applicable to human physiology, as I pointed out, but it doesn't mean that it isn't possible that it's also useful for humans. It just hasn't been tested that way, and it's not likely to be tested because, again, an herb is a natural substance. Nobody could patent it. No drug companies can sell it. The, the the people with the money to prove that a substance like this herb works in humans are pharmaceutical companies who only have an interest in profit. They are 100% profit motivated. They have no interest in human health, no interest in helping anyone, contrary to the many advertisements you see. They're only interested in making money. And if they can't patent something and sell it exclusively, they're not going to pay for the research. The research could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So my point being that the odds of this substance ever having that they'll ever show definitive proof that it works in humans as it does in animals is almost nil, because again, they're not going to spend the money for it. The substance I'm talking about is an herb called Gotu Kola. Gotu Kola has been used in Ayurvedic, which is traditional Indian medicine, the country Indian, not American Indian. It's been used for many years. Gotu Kola has different names all over the world, but one of the more common ones is called Gotu Kola, and sometimes it's called the herb of longevity. It's been used in, as I said, traditional Chinese, Indonesian, and Ayurvedic medicines, and it's been reputed to increase brain power, heal the skin, and promote liver and kidney health. And again, there's some studies that seem to confirm this. Let's talk, for example, first about well, before I forget, I want to say, in my research about Gotu Kola, the thing that impressed me more than anything, I did an article in my Applied Metabolics publication. It's www.appliedmetabolics.com. I did an article on how to increase an enzyme called telomerase. Telomerase maintains telomeres. What are telomeres? Telomeres are these kind of strings at the end of chromosomes. Every time a cell divides, the telomere gets shorter, shorter, shorter. After about 50 cell divisions, the telomere is practically gone. Once the telomere is gone, the cell goes into a process called cell senescence. Basically, it's dead. It just sits there. It doesn't reproduce, but it does produce a number of these things called extremely inflammatory substances called senescence-associated phenotypic something or other, SAPs they're called. But they basically, to put it short in a few words, the senescent cells produce a systemic inflammation that plays a huge part in the aging process. Anyway, this article was on substances that can increase telomerase, and by doing so would help. My article would help to increase, probably, lengthen cellular life, and maybe slow the aging process. And one of the studies that I talked about, they investigated thousands of compounds, including one called TA65, which is derived from a herb called astragalus. TA65 is one of the most expensive supplements you can get. I don't know offhand what the current price is. It varies between $600 and $1,000 a month, something like that. And it's been pushed for years as a telomerase stimulator that'll maintain youth, in other words, prevent a lot of the aging process. In this study that compared various natural substances, found out that Gotu Kola increased telomerase activity 8.8-fold, whereas TA65, the super expensive stuff, only increased it by 2-fold. So that really impressed me about Gotu Kola. Now, that's not I take Gotu Kola, but that's the reason I take Gotu Kola is because it interacts with GABA receptors in the brain. GABA stands for gamma aminobutyric acid. It's the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain. It helps you relax, and most importantly, it helps you fall asleep. Most sleeping drugs, or sleeping pills, work by interacting with GABA. This is a natural GABA agonist. It helps put you to sleep. That's what I use, Gotu Kola. I only take it at night. I usually take it all the time, although after doing some research for this video, I think I'm going to modify that because I didn't realize that Gotu Kola with extended use, even though I don't take that much of it, I take about just under a gram. I take 950 milligrams. But it turns out that long-term use of Gotu Kola may harm the liver. So you have to get off it. You get on it for a couple of weeks and then get off it. In other words, you cycle Gotu Kola. I'm going to start doing that. I have not been doing it. As far as I know, I haven't had any liver problems. I've been using Gotu Kola for years. I've never shown in blood tests any elevation in liver enzymes. But let's get back to some of the other benefits of Gotu Kola. For one thing, it can be termed a smart nutrient. It helps cognitive refers to thinking. Gotu Kola might help cognitive function. There was a 2016 study that compared the effects of Gotu Kola extract and folic acid in boosting cognitive function after a stroke. Very often when people have strokes, they lose some of their thinking ability depending on, because of brain damage that results from the stroke. This study looked at the impact on 3 groups of participants. One was taking 1,000 milligrams of Gotu Kola per day, one taking 750 milligrams, and the other was taking 3 milligrams of folic acid. Gotu Kola and folic acid were equally beneficial, but Gotu Kola was more effective in improving memory. A separate study looked at the cognitive enhancing effects of Gotu Kola in mice. Both young and old mice showed improvements in learning and memory using something called the Morris water maze, which is the way they test memory in mice. And the effect was worked. In other words, this study showed that Gotu Kola was more effective in older mice, which makes sense because most older people show slight memory defects as you get older, such as minimal cognitive impairment, slight memory defects. They forget you forget where your keys are. That it's not Alzheimer's or anything. It's just a common effect of aging. The dosage for helping to improve brain function is between 750 to 1,000 milligrams of Gotu Kola, and you use it for about 2 weeks at a time. Get off it for another, let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you can get back on if you want. Speaking of the brain, Gotu Kola has been shown in some studies to help possibly with Alzheimer's disease. Gotu Kola, again, a mouse study from 2012 showed that Gotu Kola had a positive effect on mice that were bred to produce the equivalent of human. It also seems to help protect brain cells from toxicity. Gotu Kola might help protect the brain from the toxic proteins that are known to cause Alzheimer, which is beta amyloid and tau. Again, this was a mouse study. We don't know if it does it in humans, so if it's a possibility. There's no. It can also Gotu Kola might be of use in helping to reduce anxiety and stress. Another animal study from 2016 found that Gotu Kola had an anti-anxiety effect in male mice that were sleep deprived for 72 hours. Sleep deprivation is known to be related to anxiety and neuroinflammation. The mice that were given the Gotu Kola showed significantly less anxiety behavior. A 2013 review of anti-anxiety herbal medicines concluded that Gotu Kola has an acute anti-anxiety effect. So there's another thing. Another way that Gotu Kola can help is as a natural antidepressant. This was a human study that involved 33 people with generalized anxiety disorder. They took Gotu Kola in place of their antidepressant medication for 2 months, and these people self-reported decreased stress, anxiety, and depression. A rat study also showed that Gotu Kola reduced chronic depression. Don't ask me how they check for chronic depression in rats. I have no idea. But anyway, Another well-known effect of Gotu Kola is it helps blood circulation and reduces swelling. A research from 2001 found that Gotu Kola can reduce problems with fluid retention, ankle swelling, and circulation tied to taking long flights that last longer than 3 hours. And by the way, if you ever take a long flight that's more than, let's say, 3 hours, do not sit there the whole time because it's very bad for you. You know, you should get up periodically and walk around the plane, and just get your circulation going. It's very, very bad to sit in one spot for hours at a time. But Gotu Kola will help that too, but it doesn't take the place of getting up and moving around. Some older research showed that Gotu Kola might be useful in treating varicose veins. That's because Gotu Kola has a positive metabolic effect on the connective tissue in the vascular wall. As a matter of fact, topical Gotu Kola at a strength of 10%, 10% Gotu Kola applied to the skin increased collagen production in the skin by 78%. That's massive. Collagen is the underlying connective tissue structural protein in skin. When collagen breaks down, that's when you get wrinkles and lines. So topical Gotu Kola might actually help to keep your skin looking younger. Where you get, I don't know where you get topical Gotu Kola, but that's what the study showed. I guess they sell it online. I've never used it. Like I say, I take the capsule extract. As I mentioned earlier, Gotu Kola might help with insomnia. It helps to treat sleep disorders. There's some research showing that Gotu Kola can help some of the problems that women face when they're in their what is it called, premenstrual tension. It'll help ease some of that too. Gotu Kola also, this is strictly for women. It maintains the tissues of the inner vagina, which is more of a issue for older women, but it is interesting that it does that. That's pretty unique. Something that might interest bodybuilders is that some research shows that Gotu Kola can reduce the appearance of stretch marks. It has to do with these compounds in Gotu Kola called terpenoids that increase collagen production in the body. This can prevent new stretch forms from forming and might even help to heal existing stretch marks. This would be the best way to use Gotu Kola for that purpose. It would be a topical cream containing at least 1% Gotu Kola applied to the affected areas a couple of times a day. Also, Gotu Kola may help promote wound healing and reduce scarring. A 2015 rat study found that applying Gotu Kola had multiple healing effects on different types of wounds. These included clean cuts by sharp objects, irregular tears by blunt force trauma, and infected tissue. Again, this would be a 1% Gotu Kola extract applied several times a day. Gotu Kola is a very, very potent anti-inflammatory, and it also, in that respect, might help to treat arthritis, which is an inflammation of the joints. A 2014 study on collagen-induced arthritis in rats found that oral administration of Gotu Kola reduced joint inflammation, cartilage erosion, and bone erosion. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that Gotu Kola provides potent antioxidant effects and also promotes the synthesis of the endogenous antioxidants in the body, such as glutathione, catalase, and superoxide dismutase. These are antioxidant enzymes produced in the body that are far, far more potent than any dietary antioxidants like vitamin C and E. Gotu Kola itself is comparable in antioxidant activity to some of the more popular dietary antioxidants like vitamin C and E. It has comparable dietetic effects. Now, as far as the side effects go, if you take super large amounts, I saw, just while doing the research for this video, I came across a well-respected, let's call it a nutritional database. I won't mention the name, but they extrapolated, in giving the dose ranges for Gotu Kola. They suggested they were extrapolating it from rat studies. They were suggesting doses of Gotu Kola for treating, let's say, for increasing mental acuity up to almost 6 grams a day, which is a massive amount of Gotu Kola, and that's very hard on the liver. So even though this is so-called authoritative site, you got to be careful. I mean, just because something seems to be, have a lot of information doesn't mean it's always correct. That's not good advice to take that much Gotu Kola. Excess amounts can cause headaches, upset stomach, and dizziness. You probably, like I say, the Gotu Kola is best used cycling 2 to 6 weeks at a time. Make sure you take about at least 2 weeks off before each use. Before you try the topical versions, you might want to put a little bit on just to see whether it causes any skin irritation. Some people can't handle the topical form of Gotu Kola. They get a little bit of skin irritation. You don't want to take Gotu Kola if you have any type of existing liver disease, because it could be a little tough on that. So I think that covers it mainly. Covers most of the essential aspects of Gotu Kola. It's an interesting compound, as I said, but to me personally, the two things that stand out about Gotu Kola are that study that showed that it's more potent than TA65 in increasing the activity of telomerase. And if this is true, then it was a pretty well-designed study. If it's true, that means that Gotu Kola really would be a very potent longevity herb. It might help, slow the aging process. I'd like to see a couple of more studies to prove it. As the way science works, you can never go by one study. You have to have multiple studies before it becomes accepted. That's the way science is. One study that doesn't really prove anything, but it at least opens the door to thinking about possible benefits. And the other thing I like about Gotu Kola is the fact that it does help sleep and it does help anxiety. So it's really good if you're a little restless, you're having trouble taking some sleep. You can take about what I do, again, 950 milligrams. I take Gotu Kola about an hour before I go to sleep. I don't take only Gotu Kola. I take a couple of other things which I've mentioned in previous videos, like melatonin, lemon balm, valerian, and also tryptophan. What's the other one I take? I can't remember. But I take several herbs. I probably don't need to take them all, but I found when I take this combination of herbs, I have terrifically horrible insomnia. I've had it for years, and sleeping pills don't even work for me. I'm talking prescription sleeping pills. They don't work for me. But when I take this combination of herbs 1 hour before sleep, it knocks me out. I actually could feel it working. It makes me so tired, I'm almost dizzy. I have to go to sleep right away. The only thing that ever did that for me in the past, which is GHB, sometimes they call it the date rape drug. I didn't use it for date rape. That's ridiculous. That's idiotic. I used it because it was terrific at inducing sleep. It put me to sleep in 20 minutes with no side effects. I never abused it. I never took it with any kind of other downer like alcohol or sleeping stuff. It had to be taken alone. But this combination of herbs works almost as good as GHB in putting me to sleep. And unlike GHB broke down in 4 hours. It was converted to carbon dioxide and water in 4 hours. It means that if you take it before you go to sleep, 4 hours later, you'd wake up wide awake because it was out. It was gone. So you'd have to take another dose to sleep another 4 hours. With this stuff, you sleep right through the night. That's the advantage of the herbs. So that's about it. If you want more information on nutrition, exercise science, anti-aging research you can use today. I think that anti-aging, you can't stop the aging process. I'm not going to bullshit people. You can't stop the aging process, but what you can do, you can increase what they call health span. This health span is differential from lifespan. Lifespan is actually how many years you live. Health span, it refers to how healthy you are as long as you live. Increasing health span means you stay healthy until the very end. You don't get degenerative diseases, heart disease, cancer, all that stuff that kills people. You don't get messed up where you can't walk or you can't exercise or you can't think. That's the goal. That's what I mean by anti-aging research that's useful. And I cover a lot of that in applied metabolics, ergogenic aids that'll help you work out, supplement science, which supplements work, which ones don't, effective fat loss techniques, effective exercise techniques that aren't generally known. A lot of that's based on my 62 years of experience in the gym and personal experience, and also watching others and interviewing many, many bodybuilding champions over the years. I wrote for the bodybuilding magazines for about 15 years, I interviewed hundreds of elite bodybuilders. And I'm familiar with what works and what doesn't work in the gym. You get all this in applied metabolics. But I will warn, also cover women's health and fitness and many other topics. Nobody as a larger variety of topics as I do in applied metabolics. But I will issue this one word of warning. Applied metabolics is not for short attention span people. In other words, if you get cross-eyed reading more than 2 sentences, probably best not to waste your money subscribing, because applied metabolics is very, very in depth. It tells you everything you need to know about every subject that I write about. If after reading applied metabolics for maybe 4 or 5 months, you yourself will be an expert on nutrition and exercise, and you'll know the truth. You won't be swayed by all the crap that you see on the internet, the nonsense and the bullshit. There's no one. Applied metabolics is 100% truth. I guarantee it, and I promise that. I also say that no matter what your level of education, you will learn something in every issue of applied metabolics. I know this to be true because when I do the research for the articles, I myself learned something. And like I say, I've been studying this stuff for over 6 decades. So I guarantee you will learn something. This applied metabolics is for intelligent people that want to learn stuff that's applicable and practicable. In other words, there are some of the other digital newsletters. First of all, they're not written by writers, so they tend to be heavy in passive writing and technical terms. I write applied metabolics in a magazine style. It's understandable by anyone. If you're completely illiterate, you can't read it all. You can use one of those read programs that are available. Oh, what the? Oh, fuck, crying out loud. Hold on. Uh, anyway, I just noticed that if you want to have the best friend you'll ever have, go to your local shelter and adopt a dog.